Hi everyone, thank you very much for joining our Just Giving Fundraising in a Virtual World webinar. I'm just going to start sharing my screen. Great, so let's kick off on today's webinar. So this webinar is all about when virtual becomes the new normal and learning how to live stream and how it could help your organization. So as we've seen, the shift from offline to online has been increasingly noticeable over the past few years. And given the current restrictions on daily life we are seeing in the UK and Ireland, our current reality has become a very virtual one. So we've seen organisations that have turned to logging into virtual offices, students are using Skype to connect to their classrooms, and our entertainment industry has swapped live gigs for social media live streams. This has meant it's the time to get more creative with our fundraisers too. So hopefully this webinar will show you some top tips how to do so and currently what's available out there. So as a quick introduction, before we get into this webinar, my name is Fiona. I'm a customer success manager here at Just Giving, and we make sure charities of all sizes can make the most of their Just Giving membership. And I'm also joined by my colleague Natasha today, who's going to introduce herself.
Hi there, guys. My name's Natasha. I look after emerging markets for Just Giving. So we look at all of the new trends, and live stream has been one of those that we've been looking at for quite some time now.
Great, we'll be hearing a little bit more from Natasha later on as well. So after watching this webinar, you will know the key tools that are available at your fingertips on your Just Giving account. You will be able to understand a little bit more how you can bring offline activities online, and we'll also talk through lots of tips to help encourage your supporters to fundraise at home. So we should be here for about 35 minutes or so. And as I said, thank you so much for joining. This is a quick run through of the webinar. We won't have any time for questions at the end of this, but we're more than happy for you to pop myself or Natasha an email with any questions or guidance that you may need, and we'll provide some support and emails at the end of this webinar. So to kick us off, I'm just going to talk through a really quick overview of your Just Giving account and kind of what key information and key tools are already at your fingertips when we're kind of talking about bringing offline online. So hopefully you will already be familiar with your Just Giving account. Here's your setting tab. So if you don't already have your own login, I'd really recommend you get access to one. There's no limit in the amount of members a charity can have on their Just Giving account. And here you can kind of create and manage new users as well. You've also got your branding section. So this is where you can update your logo, description, fundraising pages, and your thank you message, which is always really important as well. Every person that makes a donation on Just Giving receives a donor receipt via email, and on that email there's a little section to have a personalized message from the charity. So I would definitely recommend that you have this updated if you haven't already. So yeah, branding is a great kind of tool here where you can make sure your Just Giving account and fundraising pages really match your charity's mission. So this is just an example of a charity's homepage on Just Giving. And as I said, you can update your logo, your impact statement, your description, as well as your contact details. So just a reminder to make sure that you're happy with these items, especially the contact details. If people are going to be reaching out to your charity, you want to make sure they're up to date. And the impact statement is also really important as well. That's the short, snappy statement, and that often gets pulled into social media as well when people are sharing. And also, just the final tool to mention is your campaign tool. So we have got a separate webinar on this, but it's a really simple way for you to quickly create a campaign in about 10 minutes. A great way to engage if you're going to have a number of fundraisers. And again, I'll make sure to share that webinar at the end. You've also got access to your reports as well in your Just Giving account. So say, for example, if you wanted to reach out to a high number of fundraisers that have been supported your charity in the past 12 months or longer, you can access all their information in the fundraising page report. And we actually have an updated webinar on that as well that myself and my colleague Georgie did recently. So that's definitely one to watch as well. So that's a kind of quick overview of your Just Giving account and the key tools that are there. I'm now going to pass over to Natasha, and she's going to talk through the live streaming side of things. Over to you, Natasha.
Thanks, Fiona. Hi, guys. So as Fiona mentioned, we're going to be looking at live stream fundraising today. Now, we're living in unprecedented times. The country is in lockdown. We're having events postponed at every single corner. And the call has really been made for charities to have to come up with new and innovative ways to still be able to make the urgent funds they need to make during these times. And I think, as Fiona mentioned earlier, we've really seen a shift in our day-to-day lives. You know, we're working from home in remote offices, we're logging into remote classrooms, we're live streaming entertainment. There's been a real shift in how we operate as a community. But I think it's important to note that this isn't just something we've seen as a result of COVID-19. Live stream fundraising has been a trend that we've seen as a business for at least the sort of last 12 to 18 months, with an increase in virtual events and things such as gaming for good. So I'm going to have a quick talk through what live streaming actually is, how we've seen it work, what some of the trends are that we've seen, and how you can use this new type of fundraising to be able to still raise money for a great cause. So when we talk about live streaming, what actually is it? Well, live streaming is the act of broadcasting yourself or an activity live via a streaming platform. That could be YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitch, any of those types of platforms where you can stream your content instantly. In 2019, we saw a huge shift in charities really starting to look at gaming for good. Because of the amount of money and the types of people that were taking part, this was a really exciting new opportunity for charities to look at. We had some fundraisers that were raising in excess of £163,000 in one streaming sitting. We have gaming campaigns such as Special Effects Game Blast, which raised over £202,000 for charity. So it's a really exciting type of activity that we noticed was a huge trend for us last year. But one of the things that we're seeing this year is how much that portfolio is actually expanding. So whereas before gaming was pretty much dominating the live stream fundraising market, we're actually seeing people come up with more innovative ideas to be able to do that. And especially during COVID-19, people have been taking those sorts of activities to cure their boredom, but also raise money for charity at the same time. So let's have a look at some of those activities that people have been doing and how you can use these for your fundraisers. So one of the most popular activities that we've seen people taking part in so far have been things like virtual pub quizzes. So at the moment where we are on lockdown, it's impossible for people to be able to go out to pubs and engage with their friends in the way that they used to. But people aren't letting that stop them. They're using live stream as a way to be able to still continue to have that fun, but raise money for charity at the same time. So as you can see on the screen at the moment, we have a gent called Harry who did a quiz night and raised over £242, and a lady called Laura who did a friends quiz online as well. So how does this actually work? How do we get this started, and how can you start doing this right away? You can download an app such as Zoom or House Party, which are both free to download, and we've got some guides towards the end of this webinar to show you how to do that, but it's a really simple download process. You can then create your Just Giving fundraising page. You can add your picture and a bio to tell people what it is you're doing, and then you can ask your friends to donate on that page instead of making an entry fee to the quiz, for example. So it's a great way to be able to beat that boredom, get your friends together and raise some money for charity at the same time. And this activity is perfect to be able to carry on after this outbreak that we've got at the moment. I think it's really important to say that these types of virtual activities we're seeing aren't just limited to our current situation. It's very much been a trend that we've been seeing over the last couple of years anyway. But it doesn't have to stop at a pub quiz. We've also seen people having virtual pub nights. So when it gets to gin 6 o'clock, a lot of people have been going on to Zoom, House Party, Facebook Live, WhatsApp video, all of these types of free online video apps that you can use to be able to have a drink together, have some fun, still maintain their life, but also raise money for charity. So instead of paying for a pint at your local pub, why not have a drink inside, and you can donate that money to charity as well. So there's lots of different ways to adapt this type of fundraiser. We're also seeing a lot of performers, so stand-up comedians, poets, musicians, bands, comedians, all of these types of people that would typically have a live event where you would pay for a ticket and then you would go and attend. A lot of those people sadly have found themselves unable to work at this time. So some of the really great innovations that we've seen recently is people using their talents and their entertainment to be able to still stream using platforms. There's a great organisation called Next Up Comedy who have shown us here they're raising £100,000 to help comedians maintain their finances during what's going on at the moment, and they've done fantastic so far, raising over 80%. And what these guys do is they live stream their comedy online using platforms. I think they use their own platform for this, but you can use Facebook Live, lots of different other apps to be able to do the same thing. And all you need to do is send your Just Giving link out there, and people can pay online to make a donation rather than paying for a ticket. So going through those steps again, you can use something like YouTube, Facebook Live, or if you're au fait with Twitch, you can use any of those platforms to be able to stream, and they're all free to use as well. So you'd simply create your Just Giving page. You would then send that out to your friends or to your supporters or your fan base so that they know where they can go to donate. And then you would start streaming, and you can have the same experience that you would have at a gig or at any physical venue, but from the comfort of your own home, knowing that money is still going to a good cause at the same time. Another type of activity that we've seen really work during this time period, and again is so much easier to transfer after this period that we're going through as well, is sharing your skills. So a lot of students at the moment are having to do their classes from home using virtual learning environments, which can be really tricky, especially for some people that don't find it easy to read what they're doing online. So a lot of people that we've seen on our platform at the moment are using their skills with live streaming to be able to help people during this time. So whether you teach French, guitar, yoga, Pilates, whatever it is that you teach, why not use this as an opportunity to raise money for charity at the same time? The same rule applies to the other fundraisers that we've spoken about. You would create your Just Giving page. So say you were live streaming fitness like Joe Wicks, you could create your Just Giving page, tell people what it is that you're doing, send the link out and ask them to donate in order to receive your lesson. And then you would go onto a live stream, or you could do one-on-one Skype sessions with people as well. So you could use Facebook Live for this because it's great to be able to send out to multiple people at once. And you would ask for your donation and they would get the lesson in return. You can also do this with things like resource kits. So if you build out learning materials for people to be able to get through their studies, you could offer those resources in exchange for a donation for charity. One of the things that we've spoken about already and was a key trend for us last year is the gaming side of live streaming, and we've got lots of resources I can send over to you to let you know about this. But the other thing you can do is having a tournament or a games night. Now, that could be anything from playing FIFA with your friends and asking people to donate in order to take part in that, or you could have a board games evening, again, live streaming that using Facebook Live or Zoom or House Party. Again, we're going to show you how to use those apps shortly. And you can use any of those materials to be able to still connect with people whilst raising money for charity. I want to touch on gaming a little bit more in depth because this is already a huge pre-established live stream fundraising market. We mentioned Twitch briefly in a slide a couple of decks back now, but Twitch is a platform that has been synonymous with gamers since its inception. It's very much like YouTube, but what you can do on there is you can watch people live streaming games and you can make a donation to them as well. So the mechanic of donating to gamers is already pre-instilled in their way of gaming. So it's a great shift to be able to say to someone, instead of donating to you as a person, I'm going to donate to this charity. So that mechanic's already in place there. Since 2012, Twitch has already raised over 75 million for good causes. So again, this is preset infrastructure that you can use to raise money for your charity. And the great thing about that is Just Giving have now got an extension with Twitch, which means that you can, if you already have a Twitch account, you can go straight over to Just Giving, authenticate with that, and you can create your page in seconds. You can go to live.justgiving.com to embed your fundraising efforts into your Twitch stream as well. So there's lots of different assets that gamers can use to combine their Just Giving and their Twitch page together. Now, if you wanted any more information on in-depth gaming guides, how to get started, walkthroughs, tutorials, we have all the information you could possibly need to get started with gaming fundraising at gaming.justgiving.com. And we'll pop that link in there as well so you have access to that. But there's some really, really great guides to help you get started and understand what that type of fundraising is. And I wanted to show an example of a charity that we've worked with previously when it comes to gaming fundraising. Macmillan had a pre-established gaming event called Game Heroes for some time now, and this year we worked with them on creating a bespoke site that had Macmillan branding that pulled through their Twitch videos onto the stream, so you could actually see their fundraising at the same time as being on the Macmillan Gaming site, and you could sign up and have custom fundraising pages and badges and really, really cool and exciting things to be able to encourage fundraising. So that's just another tool that you can use to have a look and really harness this new virtual market that we're looking at for the next couple of years. So if anyone wants any more advice on that, we have a digital services team that can talk you through how we built this site, what options are available, and how we could help you really harness this new type of fundraiser. I wanted to show you a quick example here of our own team member, Jamie Parkins, who has set up a FIFA tournament to raise money during quarantine at the moment. And it's called the Ultimate Quarantine FIFA Tournament Fundraising. They've raised over £54,000 at the moment with Leighton Orient Trust. So again, a really great example of how you can use a campaign page like Fiona mentioned earlier to be able to raise money, bring your supporters together and celebrate gaming fundraising at the same time. Again, we spoke about this briefly, but in order to set something like that, it's really simple. You would go straight to Twitch. You would then come back to Just Giving, create your Just Giving page, head to our gaming hub that I mentioned for any tips and tricks and things that you can get started on there, and then send that link out to your network to ask for donations in exchange for gameplay or tips or merchandise. There's loads of different ways that you can incentivize donations, and they're all listed on that gaming hub as well. So I wanted to talk you through how to use Zoom, because Zoom and House Party are two apps that we've mentioned throughout this deck. They're really, really great ways to be able to connect with people via video, via live stream, without having to pay any money, which is what everyone's happy about at the moment. So to be able to use Zoom, you simply head over to their site, you sign up using your email, you enter your details. It will then take you to a screen where you can invite your friends, or you can skip that and start streaming instantly. And you'll be given a link that's specific to yourself that you can send out to your friends, to your family, to your network. They can click on that, and that will enable them to come through and see your live stream. Now, Zoom have some really great functionality. They have a chat box on there, so you can drop your Just Giving link into that chat box. So whether you're streaming a stand-up comedy night, whether you're streaming a fitness video or learning resources, you can pop the link into that box so that anyone that joins your stream that hasn't donated can see where they clearly need to go, pop through and then make their donation quite easily. So I've got an example of mobile here. So you'll see that the first option is to pop a message into the chat box. You also have some cool features on here, like changing the background on this. So what you can do is you can change the background to have your charity logo on there or your charity colors. So you're really, really enhancing your branding throughout all of this fundraising, and people can easily identify that this is a charity stream and they know that the money is going to a secure place. What I wanted to show you here is we have some resource guides coming to you shortly. So these will be in-depth guides that show you step by step how to download Zoom, how to use it and how to set it up, how to use House Party, how to get started. So you'll have everything at your fingertips that you need to really get going with live stream fundraising. And you can also send these out to your supporters, which makes it easier for you guys. There's not going to be any legwork needed to be done by your team, and people can get started straight away. So we can really capitalize on this shift that we've seen from offline to online fundraising. I'm going to pass back to Fiona now, who's going to take you through some really handy links for your charity. So Fiona, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Natasha. I think, yeah, you talked through some absolutely brilliant examples, from comedy gigs to gin 6 o'clock, board game nights, drawing, teaching, FIFA tournaments. Yeah, that's really, really inspiring to see how people are still connecting through these times. And I definitely love the idea of changing your background on Zoom to match your charity's branding or logo. I think that's brilliant. So yeah, excited to see, I suppose, lots more great ideas coming through as well. So yeah, as we mentioned, there is a great charity resource area on Just Giving where you can have a look at more tips, case studies, as well as some other webinars which I mentioned. And here's where we'll be providing those handy links that Natasha just talked about in terms of how to kind of use Zoom and House Party. So keep an eye out there. We've also got our Just Giving blog. So there's some really recent updates and blogs on that as well. There's one on kind of what campaigns we're seeing at the moment, as well as some reporting ones. So I'll make sure to send a link to the blog as well as our charity resource area as a follow-up to this webinar. Don't forget, as normal, our support team are available. Of course, they're now working remotely, but they are there online. If you need any support at all, they're there on the emails or in chat box. So please reach out to them if you need. And then you've also got the success team. So myself and my colleague Lauren, we're here with lots more webinars and also on our inbox here, success@justgiving.com. Any questions, queries in this current climate, please do reach out to us. So that brings us to the end of our webinar. So thank you so much for joining. And yeah, please do pop through any questions. We'll be able to share a copy of this recording if you'd like to rewatch, no problem at all. And yeah, big thank you to everybody.